So good morning, and it's my pleasure to tell you a little bit about homeopathy. First of all, that homeopathy works. Let's start.
I have seen the magic, I have felt the magic, and it works as fast as an allopathy medicine.
Accusations like these by the scientific community have never bothered 41-year-old Minish Kothari. He was bedridden with severe rheumatoid arthritis till 2004, a disease of the joints which has no cure in allopathy. The acute pain did not subside even with 7 painkillers a day. He says 8 years of homeopathic treatment have completely cured him.
At present, if you ask me, I am almost 90 to 95% okay. And in fact, daily morning, 1.5 hours I do severe yoga exercises. And all those exercises that I would have never dreamt in my life I would be able to do.
Now allopathic doctors may disagree, but Meena Mehta feels she's the answer to skeptics. In 2001, she had jaundice for a year, which resulted in liver cirrhosis. 90% of her liver was damaged. Her daughter recounts how homeopathy was their last resort.
Many of our doctors said that there were no hopes for her to get cured and that this would stay lifelong, or she had a smaller life now. And while these doctors said that it's not going to work, if somebody is still coming to us and saying that, oh no, try homeopathy, then yes, we wanted to try it for that reason too.
4 months of medication and Meena's liver enzymes were near normal. Of course, her allopath never accepted those results. Homeopathy still remains a huge puzzle for scientists world over, precisely because no one has a logical explanation to why it works. Scientists would say it's the placebo effect. But then 100 million Indians turn to homeopathy to cure what ails them. In Mumbai, Nikita.
So just a few cases as examples. Here is a child with eczema and he gets all right with homeopathy. Here is a child with a very severe disease called molluscum contagiosum. It's a HIV AIDS infected child, given up by most modern medical hospitals as incurable, and he gets well on homeopathy. Here is a child with umbilical hernia, which is normally a surgical condition, but it reverses with homeopathy. Here is a case of fungal infection that gets well with homeopathy. Here is a case of a child with necrotic gangrene. It's a neonate, newborn child, and this ulcer heals completely with homeopathy. Here is a case of an extensive burns in a diabetic patient, which recovers with homeopathy. Here is a case of warts all over the face that disappears with homeopathy. Here is a case of a condition called lichen planus. It's a skin condition which normally doesn't have effective treatment in modern medicine, that reverses with homeopathy. Not only that, we have extensive studies. It's not only individual cases, but groups of series of cases. Here is a series of cases on autism treated by my colleague Dr. Praful Barvalia. And what it shows with the statistics, he has treated several, maybe 100 cases, 200 cases of autism. And it shows reversal of autism in many cases. Also in rheumatoid arthritis, this research was done with the help of a very dear colleague from the modern medical world, Dr. Mamtura, who is a orthopedic surgeon, and it showed that in 90% of the cases there was positive result with homeopathy. This is quite an amazing result, because this normally is very difficult to treat. Similarly, in acute diseases, this is in cases of malaria and dengue, there was a series of 70 cases of which 68 showed positive results. So, there is a kind of belief that homeopathy cannot work in acute condition. This is a series of cases, not just one or two anecdotal incidences. And we see the reversal of, for example, the platelet count going up from 99,000 to 4,94,000 in a matter of 7 or 8 days. This is just sample. So, what is homeopathy? Basically, the first thing, of course, to know is that it works. But what is it? This is the idea. This is the idea of talking here. So, in very short, I would say that there is two approaches to illness. One is that we can consider disease as something that is local or cellular level. That means disease is tonsillitis or appendicitis or arthritis or something local. This is the modern medical approach to illness. But the homeopathic approach is that it is not the parts of the body that fall sick, but it is the person as a whole that falls sick, and this we call as the holistic approach to sickness. So, we treat the person as a whole being, and by treating the organism, the local parts also recover, the immunity increases, the mind state improves, etc. So, this is the whole difference between modern medicine and homeopathy. The success rate, we have a clinic here, the Other Song Academy in Andheri. We just monitored a random trial success rate in 100 patients. The result was over 83%, and this is spread across several types of illnesses, both acute and chronic. This is a little cartoon that says the doctor is giving the patient a whole set of medicines, and he says the top prescription is for your arthritis, but it may cause a heart attack. So, the second prescription is to prevent the heart attack, but this could damage your liver, and so the third is for your liver. And so, the patient is taking with him a whole set of medicines home, one to antidote the other. Because when you treat a local part with a remedy, not only does it not really cure the local part, but it also causes side effects on other parts. And that partial approach to illness is often temporary, often short lived, and that where the limitation of modern medicine is. Here we are not debating which system is better, but exploring the potentialities and limitations of each of the systems. We are great, we believe that in India especially, that if homeopathy is right, modern medicine is not wrong, both are right, that there is truth in both, and we want to explore both. That is the idea. Next. The whole idea of homeopathy is holism, that means treating the whole person, because the human body is conceived as one, it grows as one, develops as one, and it lives as one, heals as one, and dies as one. There is no division. It is not like a motor car that is assembled with different parts, and because it is one, we treat it as one whole system, and that idea is called holism. And behind this holism is a life force, or what we call as vitality. You often know that before you fall sick in your parts, before your throat is affected or before your back is hurting, you as a whole feel unwell. Your whole being, your whole energy is disturbed. This is your vitality, and that you can roughly divide into 4 systems: the mind, the endocrine system, which is your hormones, your nervous system, and your immune system. These 4 are the regulatory systems of your body, which are governed by your vitality. When the vitality is disturbed, these 4 systems become disturbed. Your mind is disturbed, your nerves are disturbed, your hormones are disturbed, and your immunity is disturbed. And when these 4 systems are disturbed, then the rest of the body falls sick. So when you correct the vitality, these 4 systems get corrected and the local problem is solved. Go next. So the principles of homeopathy are like cures like. That means we give a remedy that is capable of causing the same disturbance in vitality as you already have. By reflecting your own disturbance, you are causing healing. Each individual has his own disturbance. So we have to understand the mind state and the general state of each individual and select a remedy that exactly matches him. That is individualization. And we prescribe not crude substances of remedy, not material substances, but only the energy of the substance. So because your energy is going to be affected by the medicine, we only give you the energy of that particular substance, not its material dose. That is called drug dynamization, means the dynamic effect, not physical or chemical effect. This was Hahnemann who founded homeopathy, that is his picture. So just to give you an example, it is a case of a child with idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. It means that the blood platelets, for a reason which nobody knows, just drops, and then the person can get bleeding from his skin and bleeding from other parts of the body. The word idiopathic means unknown cause. A textbook of medicine called Harrison described idiopathic as idiopathetic, which means idiotic on the part of the physician and pathetic on the part of the patient. This is how they described it. Anyway, so this was the case where the child had rashes all over the body. He was advised hospitalization, he was put on steroids. His last platelet count, which normally should be more than 1.5 lakh, was about 50,000. Go on. So what we did in the case interview, this is the interesting thing, the homeopath doesn't treat the name of the disease, but the child behind the disease. So we take the symptoms, that the child scared of loud sound wakes up crying, he likes everything cold, he doesn't like warmth, he sweats on the face, he keeps scratching the scalp and he makes sounds when he scratches the scalp, he likes to eat every 3 to 4 hours solid food, he is very sensitive to new clothes, if you put new clothes he develops a rash, and so forth. So the homeopath, very interesting, these details would mean nothing to a modern medical doctor because it does not help him in the diagnosis of the illness. But for a homeopath, the name of the illness is not that important, it is the symptoms of the child, the general symptom. How does he walk, how does he talk, how does he sleep, how does he eat, how does he react, means symptoms at a nerve level, at a mind level, at an immune system level, at an endocrine level, these we call general symptoms, individual symptoms of the child are very important in the case interview. Go on. Also the mother's history during pregnancy also is important because we get indications for the medicine from there. You know the famous story of Abhimanyu, who in the womb of the mother heard all the secret of war. So like this, what is happening in the fetal life also is important for us. Go on, thoda play karo. So this is how the, what is very important also is to observe the child. What is he doing? How is he behaving? Each child is behaving so differently from the other. So our ear is focused on the parent, the eyes are focused on what the child is doing, how he is behaving. So we have this history taking process, try to understand every aspect of the child, how he eats, how he sleeps, how he walks, next. So these become the symptoms. What we do with these symptoms is we look into our book, next, and we make analysis. Homeopathy is one of the very few science and maybe the only medical science that uses computers for diagnosis, for medicinal diagnosis. So this is a computer software that we use. We put all the symptoms into the software and find out which is the remedy in our entire set of medicines that has exactly the symptoms of the child. And you can see all the symptoms that I have taken have nothing to do with the name of the disease, idiopathic thrombocytopenic purpura. It has to do with who the child is, that he cannot tolerate warmth, that he wakes up from sleep shrieking, he sweats on the scalp like this. And the remedy that comes is sulfur, and we give not sulfur the substance but the energy of sulfur. This is what we call potency. Here we gave LM8, and then we see that the platelet from 50 goes to 63, then 83, 197, 300, 272, and it remains stable over 2 years, and child is completely normal. Go next. Watch.
So can you just summarize what happened after the first visit till now?
The first visit when we brought him here, his platelets was in the range of somewhere around 50,000, and that was our main concern. He used to often get rashes on his body. That continued for almost 5 months or so. So after that, it slowly, gradually started increasing. From 50,000 it rose to somewhere around 80,000, and then 1 lakh 50,000, and then it became pretty much stable. So as he, from past 2 years, we have been constantly monitoring. So his platelets are pretty much stable in the range of 2 to 3 lakhs. And second thing was we have stopped all vaccinations because he keeps sweating a lot. Yeah, even in the winters he sweats a lot.
This type of behavior homeopaths know is also typical of sulfur, just for your information. I won't tell you too many details. Now the innovation that we made to this homeopathic understanding is that we understood that our medicines come from minerals, plants and animals. They contain the energy of one of these 3 sources, and what we discovered is that there are 3 types of patterns that we can see in patients, and if we identify the right pattern, is he a mineral pattern, animal pattern or is a plant pattern, it helps us greatly in our remedy diagnosis, and this is the big advance in homeopathy. I want to illustrate with some cases. So this is the pattern match. Go next. It's a boy with malaria. This was a child of modern medical doctors. He got malaria once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and each time they would give the medicine, again he would get it. So they brought for homeopathy, and his main symptom was that during the chill he would become very sensitive to noise. He couldn't stand noise and some other symptoms. But when we see the child, watch.
And then when I'm just reading a book, sometimes shock. When I'm reading a good book of that time I brought a story book, Harry Potter. So when I was reading, she put that child and she went to my book and just kept that book up.
Kept the book where?
In her hands.
Which book?
That snake's book.
Next book. And then what happened to you?
I just threw it away.
Go next. So this child's main symptom during the fever was he would get very frightened like this, and this led us to also the symptom sensitive to noise during chill, and the remedy that came was capsicum, which is a plant remedy which has this sensitivity and reactivity. In plant, this is what we saw. So we gave him capsicum and he became completely all right. Go next. Show little follow up.
How are you?
Next. Go next. This is a case of a 4.5-year-old boy with recurrent asthma and respiratory infection. Now what we saw observed in this child was very interesting. that he is, go next, he would cover his eyes like this, hide himself and then show himself, hide himself and show himself. That means there was a part of him that wanted to be seen, but a part which was very, very shy. This was very interesting observation. So I asked him to make a drawing next, and he made a, go next. I asked him to make a drawing, and this is the drawing he made. So we make children do drawing, and what he did was he draw this, and the last two parts were not connected, they were like this. So I asked him, what about this? He said they should connect. I said connect them. So he connected them, he made a drawing that connected. Then I asked his mother, what about this? And she says, the child, go on, he wants everything in order. He is always doing with blocks and pipes, and he makes a calendar, he puts drawings on it, so that his whole life is very, very organized. Go next, keep going. And this led us to this remedy. The shyness and organization for us is a mineral kingdom. Minerals have to do with structure and organization, just like plants have to do with sensitivity and reactivity. And he got a remedy from the mineral kingdom, go on, which is called silica, which is silicon dioxide, it's like a glass, and he did very well. Go, so show a little bit of the follow up. His shyness also disappeared and his asthma also did very well. So he is able to sit independently, not shy anymore in school, he was very, very reserved. That was one of his main problems. Next. Fully confident. Next. Now we go to third case. It's a boy with pyoderma. This is a very interesting case. Let's see a little bit. So this child came with extensive pus boils all over his legs. This is a follow up after 2 days. So he is already better. So but still you can see how bad it was, and he had high fever. And now what I observed was that during this high fever, the child was playing with 3 pieces of paper, and he would make a paper rocket like this, red, green and blue color, and he would put the blue color down, he would take the red color and hit it, doosh. So with fever he was playing constantly like this. So I asked him, what about this? And he is saying the other rockets are enemies and this red is me and I will kill them, I will just kill them. So this for us is an animal kingdom theme, which means competition, survival, one versus the other. And the other interesting thing about the child was that he would hit his maid servant, and what he would do is just go from behind when she is not looking, jump on her, put her down and hit her, which was like a play, but this was his play. And we selected for him next a remedy from the animal kingdom, which was a spider. Also from his symptoms, these were what we found, that he was a very clever, very deceitful child with a lot of desire for attention. And these were the symptoms of the child next that helped us to select remedy called tarantula, which is spider remedy, but also from the understanding of the kingdoms, it made our prescription much, much more confident. Our success rate, big jump after our understanding of these kingdoms. Next. And this is the whole idea that I wanted to show you, how homeopathy works, what it is. It's a system of healing that treats the whole person by a remedy that produces a state similar to what he has. And we select the remedy by taking the case of the child fully. My colleague Dr. Dinesh will explain you how we will take the case. Then we use the symptoms to locate the remedy. We use the pattern match of kingdoms to confirm the remedy, and then when we give the remedy, the entire person along with his problems get better. That is the whole idea we wanted to convey to you.